was thinking would be, I'll tell you what I recently read in the college paper all last year. There was that movement of you can't blame it on alcohol. Alcohol has nothing to do with it. Even if you say, the guy says, I was drunk, I just got carried away, and the editorialists and the editors of the Colorado Daily and the women's movement on campus says, alcohol has nothing to do with it. Rape is rape. You shouldn't have done it. It was date rape. And I kind of wonder about the sexuality, especially of young men and women, first time away from home. And am I on the wrong track here or what?
Well, alcohol is not an excuse. And in the law, men need to know that if you're intoxicated, it is no excuse for any crime. If I steal your birthday, Jan, and you've got a lot of money in it, and I get you drunk first, it has nothing to do with whether I stole your birthday. It's a crime. And so getting someone intoxicated and excusing it or being intoxicated yourself is no excuse for any crime. And I think we have this myth that there's a fine line between seduction and rape, but there really isn't. If someone says no and they try to stop you, it's rape. And I'm saying this to help educate the men because there are college guys in prison for not listening to this. And if you're with someone and she's getting turned on and then suddenly she says no and tries to stop you, at least you stop and say to her, you know, honey, you act like you want to, but you're saying no. If you think she means yes when she's saying no, you still need to stop and find out, because you may be guilty of a felony. If you're forcing her and you think it's some turn-on, which a lot of acquaintance rapists think it's, she's really loving this. She's saying no and she's screaming, and this is just real sexy, a lot of our movies. You need to stop and ask her.
20, 30 years ago, men were taught to, this was not rape, this was getting laid, basically.
It's getting laid if she wants to. It's
no, but I'm saying that we were taught to force women.
I think there is that in our culture, Jan, and especially...
I mean, men talk about that all the time, about, you know, how do you do it, how do you get to this point, you know, how do you... You know, if you're really very successful if you can force a woman. I mean, you know, you hear that. I mean, men don't talk about it publicly. I mean, we certainly wouldn't talk about it on the radio, but...
But they don't use the word rape. They say push, you know, and try to... How do you score? It's like an athletic contest.
Got it.
Did you score? Did you get any? We train 14-year-old boys in the locker room talk. They're just supposed to talk about scoring and getting some like a woman is an object.
Absolutely.
But a woman is a human being, and this force has become part of our culture until it's almost masculine to push. But when you push and someone's saying no, I'm trying to stop you, that's very different from just one more kiss from someone who really wants one, you know. And it is a clear line. It's not a blurred line at all. I mean, you'd know if I take hold of your wrist and you don't want me to, you're going to let me know, and I'm going to know if you want me to take hold of your wrist. I don't say, well, gee whiz, I kind of thought that he wanted me to hold on to his wrist.
No, but okay, how about people that are not really assertive? I mean, we were there, she was a pushover, literally.
Well, that's what my book is about, sexual assertiveness training. And if someone doesn't try to stop you and doesn't say no, then you have not raped them. It's very simple.
Even if they're thinking in a panic state, no?
If they're thinking no, but they haven't said anything? Well, it's most unfortunate. I've never heard of a case like that where someone is frozen and they don't say no. Someone who's severely abused, perhaps sexually in childhood, might possibly just freeze and not indicate that they didn't want to do this, but that is not the case in the overwhelming majority. I've never even heard of that. People give you some indication if they don't want to have intercourse. You can't force food down someone's throat, you know. I mean, people would let you know if they didn't want to have that food, but we have this cultural myth that somehow a guy just really doesn't know. It's just a myth, Jan. Now, he may be primed by our culture, as you say, to misinterpret her no. And I think that's true. He is primed by our culture to think that no means yes. And are you familiar with that new song that came out? When I say no, I mean yes.
Oh yeah, the country western song. They took it off the charts.
Right.
Warner Brothers removed it. You know, I really commend them for doing that. country music industry got that one off. That's great. Well, actually, it was the women's movement that got it off, but the country music industry responded, which is a lot better than, say, the heavy metal industry. They don't respond to anything.
No, they have songs about rape that are very, very popular, and even about how much it hurt a woman and so forth.
I know.
Now, a country that entertains itself with the rape of women has a high rate of rape. There's no question about it. And we do entertain ourselves with rape. 1 in every 8 films, I said, has a rape. And we have rape attempts in many more films. And we have the tradition, of Gone with the Wind and Dr. Zhivago and Dangerous Liaisons and War of the Roses, where there's a rape, and then all of a sudden in the middle, the woman loves it. She's been screaming, saying no, and then she loves it. And research shows, Jann, and I quote a lot of research there at the end, that is the most dangerous way to portray a rape, because that feeds the American myth. Women really do love rape.
Well then, boy.
Go ahead.
Well, okay. Then you have the woman that you're with, and you have let's say a fantastic sexual relationship, and then you play rape in bed. Okay, so then what you just said then sounds true. You understand when I'm talking about that thing of take me, you know what I'm trying to get at here, because there's a whole inner relationship between man and woman where he becomes that's what I'm getting at, the exploiter, and she's the resistor traditionally, and then in sex games or in bed, that can be played out to be fun, without someone getting hurt, in partners.
But you see, he knows that that's what she wants, and she's really agreeing to play a game.
Yeah.
And that's not all that common, but if someone does it, they're agreeing to play a game. Don't assume someone's playing that game. Men need to make sure that they check things out beforehand. And that's what I try to say. It's ways to say this.
I think men are stupid. I think we're like big dogs, honestly.
Well, there are an awful lot of wonderful men who would never hurt a woman and who don't play those games, Jan. There are an awful lot of men. I know a lot of very respectful men, I always say, and if you paraded a stark naked woman who was gorgeous in front of them alone in a room, not one of them would rape her. They might say, hey, would you like to go out?
Yeah.
They might say, hey, would you like to go to bed? But they would not force her.
There are an awful lot of abusive men.
Yes, there are.
There are a lot of men who hit women and children. There are, that commit violent acts toward them.
That's probably the same thing, you see, because if when you interview acquaintance rapists, they didn't say I was feeling such love for her. They often say they felt pride, and incarcerated rapists who rape strangers tell about how angry they were and how they wanted to show some woman. Sometimes it didn't even matter what woman. And they had girlfriends, they had wives, they weren't sexually deprived. Rape is an act of violence, and if you assault someone with your genitals or assault someone with a gun, you're still assaulting that person. And we have a very violent society, Jan. And although I don't approve of censorship, I point out that if we lynched a black person in 1 out of every 8 films for entertainment,
I know.
There'll be a revolution in this country.
I protested Guns N' Roses coming to this town specifically because they sing about raping women, and I've made a plea to the radio stations in this community, especially the rock stations, to take the songs off the air about rape and murder and violence.
Good for you.
They have a responsibility to us as a community.
Yeah, and if we don't want censorship, I think we have to start protesting to the sponsors and to the stations, and I even list in the back of my book not just how to speak up personally, but how to speak up in your society.
Can we talk about that a little bit? That's great.
Yeah.
But
how to speak up in your society?
Yeah.
Start with little things like, what if someone tells a joke, and it's a joke about that puts down women? I'm a terrible joke teller, so I'm not going to tell one. But it's a joke that puts down women or makes fun of rape, or even makes fun of hurting men. How do you feel about that? Do you just smile and giggle because you're supposed to laugh at jokes? You can say things like, I really feel uncomfortable about jokes like that. I don't think they're funny. Don't let the people around you think that you accept what's going on, all the way from 14-year-old boy in the locker room, and the guy says, hey, did you get any? Was she good? She was a nice person, and what I do with her in private is my business. I like to teach people how to speak up on that level, and then all the way to what happens in the media, and I thoroughly document. It's not just my personal opinion about the harmful effects of the visual media, not radio very much, but how do you speak up to sponsors? You can write the Federal Communications Commission. You can write the station, CBS, NBC, or whatever it is that you want to complain to. You can get together with other people. There's a national coalition on television violence, which I give the address of in the book. You can give them your support. They're a wonderful organization. So I list a number of ways, because, as I point out, if we lynch black people, it wouldn't last any time. So in other words, we're putting up with this, Jan. We are putting up. And there's exciting new research, Jan, that if you're a woman, a young woman, at a movie with a guy watching a woman being hurt, which is a major form of entertainment, some kind of scared woman running. If you don't say anything, the research shows that he thinks you don't mind. If you speak up, the research shows that he'll change his opinion most of the time. We're sensitive.
See, we have people hiding behind the First Amendment in this town. I went after, again, Guns N' Roses and the radio stations playing violent rock and roll.
Okay, we're talking with Steve LaBlang, who owns the Chautauqua Dining Hall. You own it, right?
I own the business, right?
You own the business, okay. This, would you tell us the history of this place? We're in Boulder, of course, up at Chautauqua Park, and how long has it been here?
The building was built in 1898 in 5 weeks for under $5,000. Opened on July 4th, 1898.
And it's been opened ever since?
Uh-huh.
So
every summer.
It's been in your family ever since then?
No.
The LaBlang family? Just kidding.
I started in 1898, no. It was run by the association until 1979, and that's when I took it over, and this is my 13th year.
Really? 13th year? But you're a pretty young guy.
I started when I was 12.
Did you really?
No.
You
I was about 27 when I started.
So you're, are you 40 now? Yes. Lots of friends, huh?
Yeah.
We'll see how this interview goes. People just keep stopping him all over the place. So, and how about your history, too? I mean, you worked at some pretty famous restaurants around Boulder as a manager, right?
I worked at the Flagstaff House, and I also worked at the Greenbrier Inn.
Yeah. And then, of course, you have this place, too. Well, tell us about this garden and what you did with it. The whole place, that's all been landscaped all around us. Come on back over this way, John, all up here in front of us. You spent a lot of money on this, and I don't know if you even want to talk about how much money was spent here, but you had to refurbish this whole front area where the stone wall and garden is.
Right. Well, like I was saying, it was a joint effort between the city, the Chautauqua Association, and myself, and with a local historical architectural man, Jerry Shapins, we designed the flagstone area out here and put in about 3,000 square feet of flagstone patio, walls, gardens, and we did, with the city, remodeled the front of the building, restored the cupolas that had fallen down during the Depression.
Oh, really? That's nice. What are all those two things up on top?
Those are the cupolas, and those were originally designed as for basically.
For what? Goofing around? Okay.
Perhaps.
All right. Let's do this. We'll go up and we'll have a look from the porch. I wonder if that train goes to New York. What the inside of Chautauqua Dining Hall looks like, thanks. What's special about the kitchen?
I'm sorry?
Yeah, the kitchen. What's special about this? Is this something new that you installed?
No, this has been here. Actually, at one time it was a cafeteria. Then we put in, as we got busier and busier, we went to full service with wait people.
Can you tell us about the buffalo? Is this the original Ralphie up here?
I don't believe so.
No, okay, just kidding. Animal rights activists do not watch this part.
It came from a buffalo farm out in South Dakota.
Okay.
So
here's a fine picture on this wall. Let's have. Is this the original LaBlang family? When your folks? Just kidding. Your people didn't really open this, but go ahead. It's grandmother LaBlang on the left.
is probably around the turn of the century. This picture was taken by Rocky Mountain Joe, who lived on the Chautauqua campus.
Oh, there really was a Rocky Mountain Joe, and that's how you named the Rocky Mountain Joe restaurant downtown. We're talking with Steve LaBlang, restaurant magnate here in Boulder. That's what are these?
These are posters from events that have been held in the auditorium in the past, such as Ken Kesey, The Roaches, Air Jazz.
I was in one of Ken Kesey's books, Garage Sale. If you look in there someplace.
Is that right?
Yeah, of the early Chautauqua, late 1800s.
This is one of the original staffs around. Once again, it's probably around 1898 or so.
Before the garden. Oh, John, here are some down here in the bottom too. Can you get those? If you move right down, there's a. Let's talk about these pictures.
This is the original kitchen staff, also around the turn of the century.
Oh, look at that snow.
In fact, you can usually tell Rocky Mountain Joe's photographs. He would write on the bottom of them. They have the characteristic lettering to the left. And he died in about 1910.
Down here? Can we talk about these quilts?
Sure.
The quilts are over here on the left. A lot of quilts on the wall here. How about the quilts?
Well, we have a variety of different quilts that were done by local artisans, and we also have the two historic Boulder quilts that were done to commemorate historic buildings in the city of Boulder.
That's one there we're looking at. Now what's this one over here on this side, the big one in front of
This
you?
is another one they've done, and both of them have won quite a few awards locally and regionally.
Okay.
See, one highlights the Hotel Boulderado, the other one highlights the Chautauqua building. Two of the more historic buildings in the Boulder area. Each panel was done by a different local artisan.
Okay, Steve. And you know the interesting part is for people who wanted to come to Chautauqua Dining Hall this year, they can't come because you're closing next week, unless they get here before when.
We're closing September 2nd, Labor Day.
Okay.
It'll be our last day till next summer.
Oh, good deal. And a great shot of nice rain up here, cools the day off.
An afternoon rainstorm, really.
And when will you open up next spring?
We'll open up around the end of May, about May 24th or so.
Okay, well, thanks for coming and being on the show today and giving us a tour and letting us come on probably one of the busiest days of the year.
Great.
Okay.
Well, thanks for coming up.
All right, see you.
All right.
Bye. Well, this scene is North Boulder Shopping Center here in Boulder. And we're about to go into one of the oldest institutions in this community, Ideal Market, which has just recently been refurbished and pretty incredible store. We'll go in and meet with the manager. There you go. LaBlang, also one of the owners of this restaurant, Ideal Market, the newly refurbished. Let's look at the vegetable section, produce. That's always the most interesting here. What did you do that's different? A lot of these baskets are the same.
No, everything actually, it was 2 years ago, I purchased a store with a group of people. And we remodeled the whole store, brought in all new cases.
Oh, really? These are new cases?
Yeah.
I like the signs on the wall. You see the signs up here in front of you, Jonathan? For people who haven't been in Ideal Market since the last time they changed it, did people get upset? Like when you first changed it, they go, oh, what are they doing? And then become like really happy or any of that?
Well, I think at first people were real concerned, and then they were happy that I had run a local business for 10 years in the Boulder area and would be sensitive to their concerns, and they were very vocal. They told me what they wanted, and we followed a lot of the ideas, and they've helped us to become real successful.
Okay, so has anything changed here in the vegetable produce market? Do you have
Perhaps
natural?
more specialty items that we're bringing in, cilantro, fresh basil, herbs, organic items are real popular. They didn't have any organic items in the old Ideal, and due to customer request, we have one of the largest organic sections in the city of Boulder.
Okay. Now you also you have a new meat and produce section too. Is that right?
Well, seafood
and poultry.
Meat department.
Let's go to that. Let's go have a look
deli.
at that.
Sure.
Old story, what?
The old store, it was impossible to get something that was pre-made, sandwiches. So a lot of people come here for lunches.
Oh, this is the deli.
Items, right.
No, we're heading to the seafood section in a second. My cat really likes the seafood section, and here I have to tie him in the car before he when I come shopping.
problem. How you doing? All right.
Lots of people know you in town, huh?
Well, I'm here for about 20 years now, so...
I have too, but people have a tendency to walk away from me when they see Jonathan and I coming.
We have fresh baked items.
Look at these baked goods over here, John. I just had one of those, and I'm trying to lose weight too. This is the wrong place to come when you're doing that. Oh, samples. Look. Oh, one sec. Are we running now? Okay, what is this?
Toaster waffles and organic applesauce.
Oh, did you make this at home?
No. Make them here. Would you like to try one?
I just had a... okay, sure. I'll try one. This looks great. In fact, Jonathan, you want one?
Yeah,
here you go, guy. Seafood section.
This is a new item to the Ideal Market and has been extremely successful. Getting a lot of... When we first opened, people were a little leery, but we get our fish flown in 4 or 5 days during the week, fresh from both coasts and Hawaii.
Oh, look at this. Who's this guy?
Actually, this is one of the employees. It's our grocery manager. This is a photograph he had that we thought would be interesting to run.
He looks like a criminal.
And this is the meat department. We make all our own sausages. We have turkey sausages. A lot of consumers are looking for the low-fat items now. All the meat's also all natural, which a lot of people have been asking for.
What does that mean, all natural?
That it's all residue-free from hormones or steroids. So when you're purchasing the beef, you're not going to be getting into the steroids that might be in some of the other cuts of beef.
Now you have a poultry section over here too. Can you hit that way over on the right? It's the same thing without...
It's gonna, it'll be a hormone and steroid-free chicken.
Lots of baseball fans here in the...
oh yeah.
See the baseball pennants up there, John, on the wall?
Actually, for opening the baseball season, we ran a big hot dog special, and we just left them up. People seem to like it a lot. Everyone's got their own favorite team.
And what's your favorite baseball team?
The Rockies.
But they haven't even played yet.
No, the Mets. That's my Mets jacket.
Oh, the Mets. Oh, that's your Mets jacket?
Yeah, you bet, no.
Are you a guy from New York?
Yep.
Have you watched them play?
Oh, sure, yeah.
I watched the longest baseball game in history with the Mets and whoever it was in 1962.
Right.
It was one of those 20-inning games, 8-hour baseball game. That's my claim to fame. That, and I went to Woodstock.
My best friend's cousins with Davey Johnson, who used to be the manager, so we used to go to a lot of the baseball games.
Oh, okay. Let's head down toward the new cashier section. Did you redo all the floors and the ceilings too and all that?
No, actually the floors and the ceilings were original. A lot of people thought it was brand new. We painted the walls a lighter color, changed the lighting a lot. People have never seen the ceiling before. All of a sudden they're like, "Wow, you put in a new ceiling." But no, it's the original wood ceiling.
Changed the way the
checkout lanes, right?
Yeah.
Change that around.
Well, this has been thanks for this interview
thanks for coming down
and tour
my businesses today.
Well, a lot of people have really been interested to know what happened to Ideal Market, and I guess we kind of get a picture of it.
Well, business is better than ever, and it's growing almost daily. So.
I'm impressed.
Well, thanks.
Talk to you later. Thank you.
Thanks.
Who have underwritten Jann Scott tonight for this particular show are Terry Chiropractic and Health Center at 3101 28th Street in Boulder at 440-0500. That's Dr. Douglas Terry. And one of the interesting things about chiropractic is when you think of chiropractor, you think of the pain in your back. And what they really work on is structure of your spine, correlates to some body function. And the goal at Terry Chiropractic are permanent results, kind of preventative kind of chiropractic, not the place where you go back to every year. You go back day after day after day for years on end. They don't do that. Now I'm going myself right now. I'm in there every single day to get the old neck straightened out and the tailbone. So I'll give you a report. I've been going, honestly, Jonathan, I've been going every day in kind of gentle, interesting work. They also do a class on Tuesday night. It's free. I recommend anybody go to that. I think it's Tuesdays around 6 o'clock. Terry Chiropractic is now a funder of Jann Scott tonight, and that's called Terry Chiropractic and Health Center at 3101 28th Street. Doug Terry, good guy, 440-0500. Tell them Jan Scott sent you. Okay, Centennial Peaks Hospital in Louisville. If you have a problem with drugs or alcohol, depression, you need intervention for somebody in your family. If somebody in your family is an alcoholic, if it's dad or mom, you want a professional to do something about it because you can't, they will set up an intervention for you. 1-800-842-HOPE, 1-800-842-HOPE. That's Centennial Peaks Hospital in Louisville. Crossroads Mitsubishi, of course, Chuck and Steve, the new Montero, the new Eclipse, great cars. Jonathan and I use a new Montero for the camera crew, and thank God we have one because you never know where we are sent out and where we have to be talking to you, the public, here in Boulder and in Denver. Crossroads Mitsubishi, new Montero, buy one. If you're an engineer, you need one. Your wife needs one. You need the protection of one. 255 30th Street, four-wheel drive, Eclipse, turbo, also very fast. No, they're great cars, I'm telling you. All right, what else? Dr. Gordon Ham, Cosmetic Surgery Plus in Denver. If you need a little chin augmentation, cheek augmentation, if you're a guy, he works on men. He works on lots of famous stars. He works on people in Aspen, Hollywood. 773-3455. That's Dr. Gordon Ham here in, he's in Denver, actually. Good guy. He's been a sponsor, a funder, underwriter of the program for the past couple of years. Okay, Dinstall's Fine Garage at 2100 Pearl Street. That's Pete Dinstall. He's the oldest Honda mechanic in Boulder. If you need a 48-point check up on your Honda, he will do it for free. Usually it's $45. Just tell him that you heard about Dinstall's Fine Motors on Jan Scott Tonight. Mention my name. They'll do the checkup, $45 checkup for free. That's 443-9200. They work exclusively on Honda cars. Okay, who else do we have here? Nancy's Restaurant at 8th and Walnut. Nancy, of course, invented breakfasts in Boulders. If you've never gone there to have the Boulder breakfast at Nancy's Restaurant, it's a great place to go. It's an excellent place to take a date. Guys, listen to me. You want to take a date to Nancy's, eat outside in the evening. You'll be thankful, and she'll be thankful that you did. Nancy's Restaurant, what more can I say? Just one of the best places in town for dinner too. You know, it's really nice there. They have a nice fountain outside. That's Nancy's Restaurant, 8th and Walnut, an underwriter for Jan Scott Tonight. Excuse me, Chautauqua Dining Hall. We were just there, so it's the ideal place for dinner or to take friends. So they're only open until September 2nd. So that's Chautauqua Dining Hall here in Boulder. Ideal Market, that's where we are right now. We're in the coffee part of Ideal Market. Newly remodeled. Of course, they have a new seafood section. They have a bulk grain section. It's a good neighborhood market. It's clean. It's nice. You'll see your friends there. It's Ideal Market, Alpine and Broadway in North Boulder. Tell Dave or any one of the people that you heard about Ideal Market on Jan Scott Tonight. They are funders of the program. They keep us going. They keep Jonathan and I walking around with this camera. Yes, who else? You know, oh, did I tell you about everybody? I think I did. And if I didn't tell you about everybody, we'll catch you next time. Now, you can listen to me also on KQXI Sunday nights, 6 to 10 p.m., addiction-free radio. That's a live call-in talk show. KQXI 1550 on the AM dial, 6 to 10. We talk about everything: ritualistic abuse, incest, codependency, alcoholism, drug addiction. We have famous authors on, not so famous authors on. It's a good program, the only one like it. We have Reverend Leon Kelly on once a week to talk about gangs. We have Bob Cote to talk about homeless winos.